Buddhism is a world religion founded by the Buddha in ancient India. Buddhists seek wisdom, meaning, inner peace, and freedom from greed, hatred, and ignorance. Mutually sustaining life, a Buddhist call to a troubled world.
One who sees merely my body does not truly see me. Only one who understands my teaching truly sees me.
For today's show, we're going to find out more about people who don't claim to be Buddhists, but show a strong interest in Buddhism. They make up a category of people who some experts refer to as sympathizers. Most experts estimate there are around 3 million Buddhists in the U.S. However, this number would be much higher if the Buddhist sympathizers were to be included. In describing these sympathizers, one expert on American Buddhism, Professor Thomas Tweed, states, sympathizers are those who have some sympathy for Buddhism but do not embrace it exclusively or fully. When asked, they would not identify themselves as Buddhists. They would say they are Methodists or Jewish or unaffiliated. If we could talk to them long enough, or better yet, visit their homes and observe their daily routine, we would notice signs of an interest in Buddhism. They might practice Zazen, sit in Zen meditation, subscribe to a Buddhist periodical, or read books about the tradition. They might attend lectures at the local university. They might visit a Buddhist center's webpage or participate in an online Buddhist discussion group. They might consciously decorate their homes with Buddhist artifacts. Professor Tweed also refers to the sympathizers with another flashier term, nightstand Buddhists. Nightstand Buddhists derive their name from their practice of placing a Buddhist meditation book on the nightstand and reading it before they go to sleep. Then they get up the next morning to practice to the best of their ability the meditation they had read about the night before. These sympathizers, or nightstand Buddhists, who practice and read in the privacy of their homes, do not show up in any statistics on Buddhist population. However, they are thought to have been an important part of the story of Buddhism in North America from its beginning and continue to be so today. Today, we're lucky to have as our guests two people who, in my view, qualify as sympathizers. They are Ninkei Claver and Ed Staples, who are husband and wife and are both school teachers specializing in music. Well, Ninkei, thank you for coming on our show.
Thank you. Nice to be here.
And Ed, thanks for being here.
Thanks, Ken. My pleasure.
My first question to you is, how long ago did you begin to take interest in Buddhism?
We've always been interested in world religions, including Buddhism.
I see.
But about 7 years ago, we started to travel extensively in Asia. Went to many Buddhist countries, visited a lot of places, Buddhist places, and got more interested and wanted to know more about the religion.
So it's through your travels then?
Yes.
I know that you have some artifacts, Buddhist artifacts in your home. Can you tell us something about them?
Probably the most prominent display would be statues that we have, Buddhist statues. We have 4 of them in our home. One of them is a very large stone statue from Korea, a wooden one that we purchased when we were in Cambodia, and probably the one that I like the best is a very small one, about a few inches high, that we purchased in Thailand. And it's in what is known as the Ayutthaya style, Thai style. And it has a very, very serene, very peaceful feeling about it. We also have several musical instruments that we've collected, a lot of them from Tibet. One of them is a trumpet that's used ceremonially by the Tibetan Buddhist monks, and cymbals, an instrument that's played like an oboe with a double reed. And when we were in Tibet most recently, we saw these instruments performed as part of the ceremonies.
I see. Well, you said that you visited some Buddhist places, and I'm wondering which are some of the places that really stand out in your mind?
That's a difficult question. I would have to say our last experience, this last summer, we traveled to Tibet. And we were invited by two monks to come with them to their monastery. And as it happened, the youngest monk was the sixth reincarnation of the Bo Gangka Rinpoche. Rinpoche. And
reincarnated Lama.
A reincarnated Lama, that's right. And so we traveled to their monastery. And now this monastery is in a very remote area. There's no electricity. There's no telephones, of course. But somehow people had heard about this, and everyone was out and welcoming the Rinpoche to be. And it was a very incredible experience. What impressed us most was the devoutness of the people.
At the installation of the Rinpoche, people waited in a very hot sun for 2 or 3 hours. And after the Rinpoche was installed, everybody went through and received a blessing from him, and we went through at the very end as well and received his blessing. It was a very memorable experience, once in a lifetime
sounds like it.
experience.
And did you know these two Rinpoche or these monks? You just
No, we just met them.
You just
walking
met them.
through walking in the marketplace.
Even better.
Yes.
Okay.
And they had just come back from 3 years in India and come back to their monastery.
I see. Do you meditate or do you participate in Buddhist services at all?
I don't meditate as such, but I do yoga, and through yoga I feel sometimes I get into a meditative state.
I see. How about you, Ed?
No, I don't meditate. We've attended several Buddhist services over the years. None recently, I guess. The most recent one would be the ceremony that we attended in Tibet, which was this past summer.
And did you feel anything at the service?
Yeah, very much. It was hard not to. When you're surrounded by hundreds of devout people, and all of them there because their spiritual leader was there, you get caught up with that, and you get the same feeling, perhaps at a different level than they might, but definitely.
Okay, what attracted you to Buddhism?
For me, it's the non-aggressive life. It is the acceptance of everyone, everything, non-violence. As far as the acceptance go, I will never forget when we walked in Lhasa, we passed an old lady, and we looked at each other. And she started to laugh and grabbed my hand, and we couldn't talk. We could not talk each other's language, but we walked like that through the streets, and she was just holding my hand and looking at me and laughing, and I felt very accepted.
How about you, Ed?
Well, like Nika mentioned earlier, I've always had an interest in world religions, and I believe that everybody is going through some sort of personal search, some sort of spiritual search. And in my search, I've been open to all sorts of beliefs. Right now, Buddhism seems to be the one that interests me the most. I like the the non-aggressive part of it. I also like the compassionate side of it. And I like the way the teachings help me to be a good person, be a better person.
Well, since you've been so attracted to Buddhism, have you considered being a Buddhist?
If you mean, have I considered being part of a ritual and becoming part of a sect? No, I would say no. But if you mean to try to live a good life in a Buddhist way, I would say yes.
I see.
Yeah. And I guess my answer would be yes. I have thought a little bit about what it would be like to be Buddhist. I'm not sure what that would take. And if it means trying to follow the teachings of Buddha and trying to be a more compassionate, understanding, tolerant person, and if that's what it means to be a Buddhist, then I guess in some ways I am a Buddhist.
Well, thank you for joining us. And I believe we got a very good idea, a glimpse into a real live Buddhist sympathizer. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you.
If you happen to be a nightstand Buddhist, please know that most Buddhists would not feel compelled to convert you. In this vein, the Dalai Lama has repeatedly encouraged the thousands of people who come to hear his talks in North America to be the best possible Jew, Catholic, or Methodist they can be. What we need in today's world is not for religions to be competing for members, but for as many people as possible to live up to the ideals of their current affiliated traditions. Now, having said this, declared Buddhists like me would certainly welcome anyone interested in becoming Buddhist with wide open arms. However, in the final analysis, I would prefer to see one strong nightstand Buddhist than 10 couch potato Buddhists, since it's more important to understand the teachings than to merely identify with the outward forms of one's religion, as expressed in today's sacred passage by the Buddha. One who sees merely my body does not truly see me. Only one who understands my teaching truly sees me. In our next show, we will look at the topic of sharing the Buddhist teachings with others. We look forward to seeing you then.
We at Bukkyo Dendo Kyokai pursue peace and happiness for people around the world. We have published the Buddhist teachings into 41 languages and donated our publication to hotels and other facilities in 55 countries. We would like to share the Buddhist teachings with people around the world. That's our mission. Visit our website for more information.